Hello guys, welcome back to Tactical Trafford, and today we are going to be talking about the striker of Manchester United. Manchester United has been linked with various strikers like Jean-Philippe Mateta, like Victor Gyökeres, like Liam Delap, but today we are going to be talking about Hugo Ekitike from Frankfurt. So guys, let's dive into this video. So guys, the first characteristics of Hugo Ekitike we are going to be going into is his goal scoring ability. When it comes to goal scoring ability, Hugo Ekitike is a striker that also still likes this execution when it comes to his finishing. He's a player that has missed 40% or that hits 40% of his targets so far from last season, which is actually raising a lot of concerns about his finishing ability. He gets into good positions, he can score with different techniques, with the Travella, with beating the goalkeeper just like Ronaldo Nazario, but he's a player that doesn't have this finishing ability yet. He doesn't score in large volumes, and you could see he doesn't have a large track record of finishing. So this raises concern about Hugo Ekitike because Manchester United needs a volume goal scorer like Victor Gyökeres, like Alexander Isak, like Erling Haaland. So this is the kind of volume goal scorers we need. We don't actually need a raw talent when it comes to goal scoring. So when it comes to goal scoring, Hugo Ekitike is just decent, but he's still raw, as his finishing execution is not really on point and not really up to the level that will be needed in Manchester United. So guys, when you're talking about the dribbling of Hugo Ekitike, I think that's the part of his characteristics that's actually very wonderful because he's a very good ball carrier. He has an elite ball carrying ability. He's very aggressive. He's very bold. He's a player that actually asks questions of his defenders, constantly putting pressures on the back line. He's a type of Alexander Isak kind of player that runs tirelessly, relentlessly. He puts his legs on any. He's like probably a nightmare for defenders that's actually press from the back because he has this ability to press throughout the game, nicks his leg into tackles. He's a very good player when it comes to dribbling, and for a striker like Hugo Ekitike that is probably 6'2", he has a successful dribbling rate of 4.7 per 90 minutes. That actually tells you that he's a player that actually dribbles well often, but when it comes to his dribbling ability is also still raw, as most of the times he tends to make some flicks or some skills when he's supposed to give like a 1-2 pass or a one-time pass. So when it comes to dribbling, he's a player that actually excels in dribbling. His dribbling rate and the ball carrying rate is actually more than that of Nicolas Jackson, Benjamin Sesko, Erling Haaland, and Alexander Isak. So when it comes to dribbling, that's one of the characteristics of Hugo Ekitike that actually stands out for me because he has a very good dribbling ability, and any striker that actually wants to excel in world football currently has to possess an actually elite dribbling ability. So guys, let's go into the defending of Hugo Ekitike. When it comes to his defending, that's probably also one of the areas alongside dribbling that he excels. When it comes to defending, he's a real asset when it comes to defending set pieces with his head or with his legs. So when it comes to set piece defending, which Manchester United has been lacking for a few years currently, he's actually an asset when it comes to defending set pieces. And Hugo Ekitike is not just a number 9 that looks to occupy large positions. Hugo Ekitike is actually a player that actually defends. He's not just a number 9 that stands that plays the target man role. He's actually defends properly, and he has a defensive successful action rate per 90 minutes of 3.43, outperforming the likes of Haaland, Isak, and also probably even Benjamin Sesko. So when it comes to defending, Ekitike is actually a striker that is a nightmare for defenders that build up from the back, just like I mentioned earlier. He's a player that is actually very strong. He nicks his legs into tackles. He's a player that actually disrupts the rhythm of build-ups, and he doesn't just press. Hugo Ekitike is a player that actually presses with purposes. He actually puts a lot of constant pressures on the defenders, which is he's also a striker that acts like a winger. He double ups on the fullbacks of the opposition team. So he's not just a striker that wants to score goals or wants to occupy large positions up front the pitch. He's a player that also can be able to drop deep and help in defensive duties and double up on fullbacks. So guys, when it comes to the aerial ability of Hugo Ekitike, that's actually probably one of his biggest assets as well. When it comes to headers, he's actually good in winning duels and winning headers. He's actually a player that is 6'2" tall, so probably he's going to be a great asset when it comes to headers. He's a player that actually doesn't wait for headers to come. He's a player that actually attacks crosses or set pieces with intent and purposes. So he's not a player that actually waits for the ball to come before he leaves. He's a player that actually attacks set pieces and crosses. So when it comes to headers, Hugo Ekitike is just a little behind Benjamin Sesko when it comes to comparison, because he has a successful aerial duel percentage of 4.3. So he's just behind Benjamin Sesko when it comes to aerial duels. So when it comes to headers and winning headers and being a constant threat or being an asset when it comes to headers, Hugo Ekitike is probably one of the players that you should call. And most of the times his headers, he actually mistimes his headers, or most of the times he doesn't get the execution of his headers right. But when it comes to the foundation of the headers of Hugo Ekitike, he's a player that actually has a very solid foundation when it comes to headers. So Hugo Ekitike, when it comes to headers, is probably one of the best strikers around the world. So guys, let's go over to the overall profiling of Hugo Ekitike. Which team can Hugo Ekitike actually play for? So when it comes to the team that Hugo Ekitike can likely play for, there's a lot of teams in the Premier League that you could actually put or fit Hugo Ekitike. When it comes to his overall gameplay, he's a player that can be able to play in a transition team because he's not a target man. He's a player that is very fast, he dribbles very well, he can score a lot of goals. So he's not a player that actually loses to be a point man and receive the ball from maybe the goal kick or all that. No, Hugo Ekitike is not that kind of player. He's a player that actually likes to drop deep, to play with his player. If you look at his passing percentages are actually pretty high. So that tells you that he's a player that likes to get involved. He's a player that actually likes to play with the team, to get involved with the team. So that's the kind of player Hugo Ekitike is. He's a player that can be able to drop deep, play with the team, move the ball around and get involved in the overall play of the team. So that what is that actually telling him? He's a player that is actually very similar to Joshua Zirkzee in Manchester United. So is a striker like Hugo Ekitike fitted for Manchester United? I'll probably say no, because he's actually a very similar profile to Joshua Zirkzee. He's just a faster version of Joshua Zirkzee. So Hugo Ekitike actually is not a striker that will actually fit in Manchester United, because we already have that kind of profile of player in Manchester United. Manchester United, especially in the Ruben Amorim 3-4-3 system, he likes a striker that can be able to run the channel. Hugo Ekitike can be able to run the channel effectively, but we need a large volume scorer. Manchester United is the player that actually, over the years and over the decades, have been able to buy large volume scorers like Robin van Persie, Andy Cole, Yoke, DeWitt, and the likes of Carlos Tevez, Wayne Rooney, Cristiano Ronaldo, Romelu Lukaku. This is the kind of strikers we have had over the past years. We don't actually need a player that is very raw. If you look at probably all his characteristics, he's a player that actually that will look to develop in the future over the overall gameplay or over all characteristics. Buying a player like that is just probably buying another Zirkzee or buying another Chidobe Martin that you'll be waiting to develop over the next 2 to 3 years. You actually need a refined and on a ready-made player that is going to come in and shake things up in the Premier League. So that's probably what we have for Hugo Ekitike for this video. I look forward to making more videos for you guys. Ciao.